Okay, let's start. Characteristics and classification of living organisms. Chapter 2, O levels and IGCSE biology. So we have to look on feature of the organism. In the last video, we looked at the animal kingdom, and now we have to move towards the plant kingdom. State the main feature used to place organisms into groups within the plant kingdom, limited to ferns, flowering plants. फ्लावरिंग प्लांट्स में आपके पास आ जाते हैं डाइकोटिलेडन्स एंड monocotyledons. Flowering plants you have dicotyledons and monocotyledons. So what are plants? Plants are organisms that have cells with cell wall made up of cellulose. Plants are of green color. Their green color is caused by a pigment called chlorophyll which absorbs energy from sunlight. So this is the introduction of plant, as you have already studied that, and also studied the plant cells, its cell structure and function. The plant uses this energy to make glucose by using carbon dioxide and water from the environment. This is called photosynthesis. Photosynthesis is a well-known process of plants in which they make their own carbohydrate food by using carbon dioxide and water from the environment. Plants include small organisms such as mosses, ferns, flowering and non-flowering plants. So first of all, we discuss about ferns. Ferns are very beautiful plants. They have leaves called fronds. Their leaves are needle shaped, so that's why they are called fronds. They do not produce flowers but reproduce by means of spores, which are produced on the underside of the fronds. These spores are produced on the underside of the fronds. This is the structure of a fern. As you see, this is the apex. It is one leaf. This is the midrib, pinnules, and these are the pinnas. Characteristics of ferns. Plants with roots, stem and leaves. They have leaves called fronds. This is one frond. They do not produce flowers. They reproduce by means of spores. Next we have flowering plants. As you see the many different flowers around you in gardens, roadsides. So plants that produce flowers, fruit and seeds, these are called angiosperms. Angiosperms is the scientific name for flowering plants. They can be tiny or very large. Many trees are flowering plants. So from tiny to very large. Feature of organism. From shrub to trees you can see the flowering plants. Characteristics of flowering plants. Plants with root, stem and leaves. They reproduce sexually by means of flowers and seeds. Seeds are produced inside the ovary in the flower. These are the characteristics of flowering plants. Flowering plants can be divided into two main groups, monocotyledons and dicotyledons. As the name shows, monocotyledons has only one cotyledon in their seeds. They usually have a branching root system and often have leaves in which veins run in parallel to one another. These are cereal crops including wheat, Barley, maize, feature of organisms. Dicotyledons. Dicots have two cotyledons in their seeds. Their seeds are somewhat like that. If you see the seed there, it has two cotyledons. They frequently have tap-root system and their leaves are often broader and have a network of branching veins. For example, sansar. Sansar is the common example. You can see its broad leaves, flower, and also the pollen grains. How do you distinguish between monocot and dicot? So यहाँ पे इसकी I will show you the pictures. Okay. This is monocot and this is dicot. This is the bean seed. As I already told you, there are two cotyledons and it has only one cotyledon. Seed coat or fruit wall, alluron layer, endosperm, scutellum, collectile, lomule, radical, foliarize. So this is the monocot seed and this is the dicot seed. It is epicotyle. You can see the epicotyle leaflet-like structure, then hypocotyle, radical, seed coat. These are two cotyledons which are in kidney shape. You can see that. And this is the embryo. These are the bean seeds. So now how do you distinguish between monocot and dicot? Monocot. Monocot flowers petals in multiple of three. It is somewhere like this. These are the flowers. Petals in multiple of 4 or 5. You can see them there. 4 or 5. Like that. Arrangement. Leaves. Parallel leaf veins, narrow and grass-like structure, reticulate leaf veins, broader leaves. They have broader leaves. This is their vein structure and they have grass-like leaves. Like that. Parallel leaf veins, we skip it parallel होती हैं. Reticulate form a web-like network throughout the leaf. So reticulate meaning form a web-like network throughout the leaf. Flowering plants. After flowering plants, we are moved towards the viruses. State the feature of virus limited to protein code and genetic material. Viruses. Viruses are not a part of any classification system as they are not considered as living thing. They are not considered as living thing, but once they are in the host cell, they occupy the host cell's material and start living there. They do not carry out the normal life processes for themselves. Instead, they take over a host cell metabolic pathway in order to make multiple copies of themselves. So once they are inside the host cell, they make multiple copies of themselves and then they spread the diseases. Viruses are much smaller than bacteria and consist of a single or double-stranded nucleic acid DNA and RNA. So here I have a spelling mistakes of nucleic acid. It is nucleic acid. Surrounded by a protein called capsid. Some viruses also have an outer enveloped capsule of lipids and protein. They are vary in shape. The two main classes are RNA virus and DNA virus. These are the two classes of viruses. So you can see that this is a common virus, influenza virus, which is called bacteriophage. Now discuss its structure. It's a very robotic structure. This is the protein coat. This is In blue color you can see the nucleic acid, DNA. This is the tail of the virus, and these are its fibers in which it penetrates into the host cell. And once inside the host cell, it occupies the host cell living cell, its activities, and produce its copies. It spread diseases. Viruses are also not only spread diseases, but it also uses a vector in genetic engineering. Okay. Mode of action. Outside the host cell, the virus do not carry out any characteristics of living things. In outside the host cell, if this is the host cell and it is the virus, it is non-living thing, useless type. But when it penetrates in the host cell and multiply there, then it becomes dangerous. They do not feed, respire, excrete, grow, or reproduce, but inside the host cell, the virus can reproduce and replicate. So, because it can occupy the space of the host cell and its activities, its metabolic activities. They do this by taking over biochemical system of the host cell and use them to make new copies of themselves. The host cell then bursts, releasing viruses to infect other cells. So they produce multiple copies, and once they produce multiple copies, then they infect other cells and produce as many. So they take long time to overcome. Mild virus diseases take about 15 days to go to overcome. Okay, and if these are infectious diseases, they are prolonged. They have they are cured by medicine. Viral diseases, common cold, influenza. They take about 3 days with anti-allergy and anti-fever drugs. Chickenpox, dengue, herpes, and AIDS. AIDS are last long. Herpes are also long duration, but chickenpox and dengue it will take 2 to 3 weeks to overcome their symptoms. So this is the explanation of viruses. I hope you understand it well. If you have any queries, please ask me in comment box. Like my video, subscribe my channel. Thank you.